Welcome to episode 36 of Empathic Action. Today I'm joined by a dear friend of mine, Scott MacLeod, an artist whom I've known for more than half my life, a visual artist, photographer, painter. I don't know if you do any sculpting. You're a filmmaker. Now you're an author, I just learned. So thank you for joining us. I thought it would be nice to have a conversation about the artist's experience, the creatives in our world, how they're doing, and how we can have empathy for people who are artists by profession. So how are things? How's life, Scott?
I'd have to say I'm on the good foot with all this in a way. I'm given that the Canadian government has come in with our benefit every month. It's actually liberated me from the gig economy. As many others, I have a lot of cancellations for exhibitions, juries I was supposed to sit on, Griffintown tours I was supposed to give. So I've kind of fallen into a mode that I'm familiar with, and it's the residency mode. So I'm calling myself, when people say, how are you doing? I say, I am the artist in his residence, meaning that I'm attending and going to projects that I was trying to get to while I'm out there in the gig economy trying to make my salary. So what I'm finding now is that I have this deeper rigor in, the graphic novel I'm working on, the scripts I'm working on, time in my studio to finish that Northern Lights Iceland series that I was working on. And so attending to detail and things that you want to get to in your life, but often are pushed to the side. So I have to say, there's a sort of a joyful feeling that I get every morning when I wake up. I'm like, oh my God, I get to create again today? Really? And that feeling I had when I did my residencies in Iceland, in New Mexico, and at Banff in Alberta. So I think, this is probably exceptional. And I know it's not the case for many people. Many people are struggling and suffering and so forth. But maybe this is sort of a unique perspective on the artist situation when we're dependent on a gig economy and not a steady job. So it does give an insight into how I live.
So, this is like a natural segue to anything that you may want to say about universal basic income and how that could really be a game changer for society.
Absolutely. And, you're dead on. That was, those are my thoughts precisely when I ruminate and I'm writing and stuff like that. I said, geez, if there's a lot of people that would benefit from universal basic income. And I know the stats are there. The studies have been done. It does work. I haven't read a lot of articles, but in Spain, they are really seriously looking at this to implement it. And I think, what are we going to do with that money? We're going to put it back into the economy. And one thing I know, when I was the artist in residence at McAusland, which you remember when Peter was my benefactor for a period of time, I gave a lot of free time. I did a lot of free things, pro bono, to help. And what I was encountering in the last few years is that I had to say no to a lot of things. So imagine the give back that people like me with, 30 years of experience in my profession, I would love to help more young people. I get people calling me, can you help me? Could you mentor me? Can you show me how to have best practices in my art career? I didn't learn enough in university. So I would like to be available. I'd like to do that. And if we had basic income, I think this would be a reality for many people, freelancers or gig economy people in my situation.
So as an artist with that background, 30 years of your craft or many crafts, do you have any suggestions for the inner artist of people who are at home with time on their hands or with children, anything that you can suggest that they can do with their kids?
Well, I'm seeing it on Facebook already, and I find it just really endearing. An ex-girlfriend of mine, she posted, she's just there with the saxophone. She said, I always wanted to learn how to play the saxophone, never had the time. She was a very busy photographer. She worked with the Indigenous community, the Squamish Nation. And there she is, learning the saxophone. Also, I'm seeing fathers and daughters, mums and sons, reenacting old paintings. I don't know if you've seen that series where people are, with the materials that they have around them, they're reenacting paintings. I think this is just a wonderful creative outlet. And that speaks to a greater narrative that we're all creative. I've never seen a child that wasn't able to dance, draw, paint, sing, what have you. And this time, again, I don't want to dismiss the struggles that people are enduring, even in family settings. But if we can go into that portal, that creative side of ourselves, and share with our kids, the parents with the children with the parents, there's an opportunity here to open up other things that we may have not had time for or repressed. So I think it's if I can look on the glass half full, I would say that this is a great opportunity to explore those creative aspects of us, because we all have them, and creativity is essential. And it's been there since the beginning of humanity. We've always managed, I don't know. I keep thinking this quote I learned when I was in Iceland, the old Norse term "titaradest," which means it will all work out. So we can work it out in our creative, with our creative attributes and interests. And
yeah, a little bit like the rainbows, ça va passer, or also bien aller. A last question, if you'll indulge, just because this is so lovely. I keep coming back to the idea that this crisis is providing an opportunity for us to reflect on our personal and global priorities. Mm-hmm. What do you think could be possible for us in the future?
Wow. I wake up every morning and my window's cracked open and I hear songbirds that I've never heard before. The air is a lot cleaner in the city, as it is in many cities all over the world. It is a reflective time, and I'm an empath, so I'm feeling it. And I think it is a remarkable time for us to look at better green policy. That I think of World War II, for instance, when they had to refit all the factories to make war production, planes, tanks, what have you. This is a golden opportunity for us to start thinking the same thing. Look at oil has dropped. Now's our opportunity. This is the time. You can compare it to wartime where there's a crisis, and like FDR did with the works in progress. It's a time to rise to the occasion, to put best practices forward, and we can do this. I know it.
Well, thank you for shining your light for as long as you have, Scott. It's been great to chat with you.
Thanks for the invitation.
Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
Keep doing the good work.